is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Merchant's Cove, which is a game that I was kind of intrigued. I think I remember I backed it on Kickstarter for a little bit and then ended up pulling out just because Final Frontier games typically, for me, are kind of all bark, no bite, and Merchant's Cove is a really interesting gimmick. Is kind of how this is a very gimmicky game. I don't really have any problems with it per se, but I wouldn't want to play it again.
Right.
It's kind of where I'm at. Like it has a lot of moving parts, but it's kind of like the game is. I wouldn't say it's overly long. I don't know how I kind of feel about this. It's like, yeah, this was neat. What you were doing was neat. What Kat was doing was neat. But ultimately, I didn't give a shit what you guys were doing.
Right. And I don't think it matters. I mean, yeah,
and it doesn't really matter.
That's why the end game, like we're all creating something. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So at the end of the game, it's more this is
Yeah.
the gamesmanship.
Yeah, and yeah, that's kind of the only interaction. You don't hate draft necessarily because like when you're placing them, there's enough information for you to look at the boats and kind of adjust accordingly. But it's kind of really, I felt like the biggest time that the boats mattered was if you were lucky enough to be the one to draw last. And you're just like, oh, right. Lucky me. I mean, there was a time where you kind of were like, oh, Cat has, a large, large red whatever potion, and it's like, I'm going to move this boat to the small dock. And it's like, okay, well, that's just kind of annoying. And that's really the whole crux of this, right. Maneuvering the boats to position it. But really, I don't think it like ever mattered.
Well, and the thing we never did do this aspect, but because you don't have to sell your stuff. Like if you get if Kat had built a couple of big things and there wasn't anything, you kind of wait and see.
You just wait till the next
time, and then you sell a bunch.
Yeah,
I mean
that's a risk though.
No, it is
because considering the game is only 3 rounds. Good length though. I've always loved this mechanic. Yeah. The more you do bigger actions, like the way you're able to. Like, okay, everyone's taking big actions. I'm gonna take some smaller ones, so I'll get to team up. And of course, being the Chronomancer, I had ways to actually take more actions than most.
Actions flying out of your ass.
But
you were doing all kinds of.
I never felt like honestly, I don't think any of them were cool. Like when you have a faction that is all about controlling time, it was more like I was doing piddly shit. I'm gonna do this to stop time. To get a little artifact, like it wasn't cool. Like I was actually kind of.
I mean, and that is a big benefit. I mean, because you scored 30 points, we both did because I managed to get 2 red things too. But that was that's kind of the play you try to make, and hope somebody else didn't do it because that was a big swing, 30 points. But we just both happened to get 30 points, so we were
exactly, and that's why I was saying this didn't end up mattering. Trying to even swindle the combination of getting artifacts. It's just like, oh, you can do the exact same thing. So the 30-point swing, if you're ahead or if I'm ahead, it just shifts us.
I will say that.
Hold on, real quick. Oh. Kat, what do you think? Relative was going back and forth, and Kat wasn't saying anything. So what do you think of the game?
I liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, great.
No, yeah, I liked it.
I liked totally.
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
I just left it like that, but What I think the one thing, I mean, I specifically liked being the alchemist, I guess. I didn't have any qualms with it. I would say the only thing I didn't like was the pacing of like the turns.
Oh, you don't like the turn thing?
Off.
I can see why people wouldn't like that because it's like you think sitting in, oh hey, I just went, Brad just went.
Right.
You should go. Oh nope, sorry, Kat, you have to wait a little bit longer because Brad and I are actually going to go back and forth a couple times.
It's not traditional, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's at least interesting. But I agree with you when you say it's a little bit gimmicky. But I liked it. Oh, look at that moonboat.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is
see?
Well, see, this is what I was going to say. You could play with different boats. Like this is a 5-slotter, so you're going to have more people out.
Ooh.
This one can dock anywhere, even if there's like it could be a third one.
It can come up on.
It can come up and at the end and.
Sure.
I mean, there's very little bit of boat variation with that and stuff, you know.
It's like for me when it comes to asymmetry, because like obviously we played the game really different. It was when it comes to asymmetry, and obviously the biggest one I can think of is Root. Obviously, very different game, but the concept is in Root, yeah, everyone's trying to get 30 points, but we interact with each other completely differently. This one, you don't interact with each other at all. So
it's very Euro.
Yeah, and you do the exact same thing, or your end game is like, oh, yes, we are all getting the exact same artifacts. We just go about doing the same thing differently. And so whenever you're scoring points, it's just like, oh, okay, well, I guess I got my big red different than you got your big red. But nothing you do, nothing I do, nothing Cat does to get the big artifacts matters. Like,
and like I said, this is like the first three-player game I've played. Most of it's just been kind of walking through it with a couple. And I think there is something when I've watched playthroughs online and stuff of, it, like we said, it's a risk.
Yeah.
But holding your stuff and selling it at the most opportune time.
Sure.
Because if you hold stuff and you're hoarding a bunch of stuff in your cabinets and we just happen to get this, and you have,
I can.
You can really point up, but that's a risk.
Yeah, and that never really occurred to me, but yeah, you could very much do that. You could get like a bunch of these big ones and then just hope that the dock goes, like the colored, meeples go to the dock that you want them to. But I guess my question to that would be, what the hell do you do in the meantime? Like, if you've been holding them, you're just like, well, there's nothing else for me to do except build potions. Or
you just keep building and keep trying to get your people,
But these don't stack. It's one. It's only one. I mean, honestly, the people. I mean, that's actually how you ended up winning. Was these icons here at the end of the game, and for me, I actually kind of find this annoying because you get the one-time ability. Yeah, it lets you do these, which is cool. I like that. That's a spot that you can run down, but it's almost like, wait till the end of the game, or wait till like the last round, and then just wait for the sponsor, and then just get a bunch of the same color. And it's like, oh, okay, well, lucky me, I have four green. There's 2, 4, 6. There's 7 there, so that's whatever 28 extra points that no one else is gonna get. So Cat ended up kind of getting 2, and really the only time I ever found them useful was to counteract the corruption. Which the corruption was neither here nor there. It wasn't that big of a deal.
Mine were just getting rid of the corruption. I mean, it can be if we, if it happens to.
Yeah, if you want to try to extend the game.
Well, and plus, we played with the card because you see where the bottom of that with the little circle.
The 0.
The other ones have abilities where if you draw the gray guy out, they automatically go down there. They don't even go on a boat. So there's different variations and
sure,
and all that stuff. So this was just like the base game, and stuff. So
I mean, like I said, I didn't really have any problems with it. It was just the concept of the game. And my friend Brett, he likes to say this for a few games, and I kind of agree on this one. I feel like they had more fun making it than it actually than actually playing it. Like, it's like, ooh, okay, yeah, we're gonna have a dice guy, we're gonna have a marble guy, we're gonna have a tile guy, we're gonna have a dry erase guy. Well, do they interact with each other or do anything different? Not really.
Right.
I wouldn't say that they weren't unbalanced.
This took the asymmetry of like a root, but turned it into it used the Euro game. Like you were playing your own Euro game, trying to come up with the same level of things. I think.
Right.
That's like if you're a war game liker, this isn't gonna go.
Sure.
If you like I prefer this, even though it's more convoluted and everything. Like I prefer the hell out of this over Bargain Quest.
Oh really?
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely not.
Just because I like the having the dice, the options of doing that stuff, and having the meeples out there and doing all that, and you don't have to worry about the adventurers going out and what they do after they buy your stuff.
Yeah, but that's for me. That's kind of the fun. It is kind of the similar idea, I guess. But for me, it's kind of like, since this is the tile person. That's all he's ever gonna do. So it's like there's nothing else to him. Like, okay, yeah, you played the blacksmith. You're gonna mess with dice, but you're gonna mess with them really in the same way.
I'm trying to think what game we played not too awfully long ago it was one I showed you, and I said that, I guess it would have been when we played what's the one, the Diablo one, Sanctum.
Oh, Sanctum, yeah.
Like with that, like you're good playing that character maybe once or twice, and then you want to really like this is the one I played the most.
Yeah.
I played him now. Now I want to kind of mess with those a little more, mess with the expansion ones, and then but like as far as playing this like 50 times, probably not unless I was showing other people.
Oh yeah, this is way better than Sanctum.
Right.
But yeah, it's in the same concept. It's like I do want to try the other factions, but it's like, all right, yeah, this is the Chronomancer. Okay, I get it. All right, yeah, I'll try the Dice Guy. Okay, I get it. But once again, you're really making the same shit. Just now it's with dice, and I don't have tiles.
And one of the other heroes is the Dragon Rancher, but you're creating dragons to sell off to people.
Yeah, let me guess. It's blue, red, green, yellow dragons.
There might be different points because they're weird different. But anyway, the other cool one is the Innkeeper. Because you're like running an inn and you have beds and all this stuff, and you're like selling hotel beds, stuff like that. So
once again, that sounds like a blast in the design department to come up with all that. And I would have. That's probably where, because let's see, 6. Because all the points are the same.
Yeah,
that's where the variety would have came in for me.
They're points because of the rarity. Like the yellows and blues are. More
it would have been cool if the way, I mean, I don't know, they would have had to really work on it, but if the artifacts that I'm getting were different than the weapons you're making, than the potions she's making, that would have made the game way more complex for what they were going for. But I think that just adding more uniqueness to the faction that you're playing, because all the expansions it's just another way to play the same game.
The Secret Stash had a few module little things, like it changed. Like there was more different versions of the faction houses.
Yeah,
that would let them, like, if the people that were on there, it did a little bit different things.
Oh,
Those are some different things to change the faction houses up.
Yeah.
There were some more townsfolk that got added. We didn't play with some of the townsfolk's cards because it said this just to do there was just 2 versions. There's another one that affects boat movement, like you can move people from boat to boat.
That would have been nice,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's another module thing that you can.
It's a module expansion.
Well, it's just a little more cards to put into the town.
Gotcha.
Town deal, because like if you'd buy them, the immediate effect would be like you could pick somebody from this boat to move to that boat, or something like that. It's
kind of annoying with Cats though, is I feel like hers was completely random. Both of yours were completely random. Mine weren't.
Right.
In any way, I think like I got to choose what tiles were going and in what order they were going. And Kat, did you feel? I mean, the point spread for this between me and you is really 5 points, but honestly, it's like between Kat to us is wicked. Like, did you feel like you were struggling harder to get potions? Because I felt like Brad and I were just like, oh, I'm gonna make all these.
I misread something at the beginning that hindered me, so I did it to myself.
I see.
I could make big batches of potions, and I was only doing one at a time.
So yours is kind of like when I was do a forge action, I could make everything I was prepped.
Gotcha. Oh, okay.
And I just misread it.
Yeah. Which is something to bring up. Is I mean, they give you their own rulebook, so thank God. This is nice. That you just hand it to someone, you set it up all different. But yeah, in any asymmetrical game, these are very hard to teach. It's kind of like, I've only ever played, the Innkeeper. It's like, how do I play the Alchemist? Yeah, I have no fucking clue. Read it.
No one's played it.
Yeah, and they're like, I don't know these kind of games, and so they're like, they're gonna have a bad time. I mean, I've had that same problem with Root. How do I play the Eerie? Oh fuck if I know. I mean, I know how to play everyone in that game, but someone pretty much has to put in the time to sink into each of them. I don't know. Like I said, it's definitely not a bad game, but
it's not Onk.
maybe it's like if we didn't play that, I'd probably be shitting. No, that's not true. No, this game really, it just didn't grab me, honestly. Like, it kind of felt like 3 rounds was good, but I was ready for it to be over by like the end of the second round. Because I I mean, also with the randomness of the meeples coming out, it's like, oh, okay, drew this, and it's like, okay, well, it's not that color, so I guess I just don't really care. I was really just waiting for your guys' turns to be over so it can come to me, and I can see where Kat's coming from if we're taking piddly turns. And she's like, I'm going to go get some stuff for my potions. All right, I'm just going to hop 2 over, and then we're going to 1, 1, 1. And then even with me, it's even worse if I'm in it, because then it's like, oh, I'm going to do 1 action. Okay, nope, it's free. I'm going to do another action. Nope, it's free.
Right.
In fact, I even had some cool combo where I was able to...
Well, that whole faction thing where you got 12 points in that one turn was...
Didn't matter. Like, it was just... Okay. Like, I did that. I guess they balance them by the fact of I have to move the 2 characters that are obviously very blatant ripoffs from Back to the Future.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna have Kat chime in on more stuff.
Yeah, go ahead.
She had anything else to say?
No.
Any comments? Did you like the meeples? Did you like the boats coming in? What did you think that was?
Yeah, I like that as
balanced?
part of the variety. I mean, it's random, so I don't think it's like I wouldn't know about balanced, but I liked it. I liked the variety because it gives it. No one has an edge. No one's like, yeah, I'm gonna like main red potions or something or whatever we're doing.
Yeah, it's I felt like Kat. I felt like you actually had the easiest way to get potions.
It just takes time.
Yeah,
because you have to load them up, and you have to make sure you have the big enough dice or the small enough dice.
Yeah,
and then
the times I did look over, I was just kind of like, oh, you never had a problem getting the dice you needed.
Yeah, cool, because I get extra dice once I unlock these.
Yeah.
But that's a 2-step thing. I have to put something here to put a dice there, and then I have to forge to do it. I mean, I could get a lot done in one turn. Like, it took me a lot of turns to load up those, and then I do the forge, and I could just... Which is kind of
what she does, yeah. It's like she just... So you set up the time... I mean, really, actually, if you kind of think about it, you guys are playing really the exact same way. She plants her potions all in 4 batches. You plant... You make your armor. I was the only one that couldn't do that.
Right. And if I was rolling... I rolled pretty well. I was rolling big numbers or small, so I had to be I was able to mess with that a little bit.
Yeah, you didn't really have to go and modify your dice at all.
Because the only dice modification on here is changing the coal.
Yeah.
And that would be that's the only thing.
Yeah, cool concept. You were gonna say something.
I was just gonna talk about the production value is awesome.
Yeah.
As far as the 2, or whatever they call that, the dual layer boards, I mean, these were kind of a pain in the ass to put together.
They remind me of Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea.
Yeah, exactly. Each one of us has our own unique place to put our...
Whatever the hell I have over here.
It's just like a table or something.
Yeah, it's just a workshop.
It's stupid!
But,
have a better workshop.
And the captain that's in there has because she has a spinner. So you'll do a spinner with her deal too. Okay. But she has like a dock that you put her stuff on and everything. But you probably would have enjoyed the captain more.
I mean, that's the thing is like once again, I have no real complaints. There's been a few games we've played lately that I was like, this was good. That's that.
Oh yeah, yeah. And like I said, production value was great on this. I mean, this is the retail version. It's the same as the Kickstarter version. When I got the other stuff, I even got the Kickstarter exclusives that were in the one expansion box. So
yeah, it's extremely colorful.
It's
the extra module stuff that you mentioned sound like it'd be cool. So it's not just kind of first come first serve. Right. It's not hate drafting, but it is kind of luck of and it's like luck of the draw and luck of the placement. It's like, lucky me, I'm gonna place this exactly where I need it.
And then for the solo people, if you get the secret stash or whatever, it has a booklet full of solo scenarios to play with this and everything. Plus, there's a whole solo board and everything that just comes in the base game that you can play solo with stuff. So, I mean, there's that avenue to check too.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Like, if I was buying this, if somebody was interested in this, I would say get the base game, and then get that secret stash box. It's like $17, I think, is all it was.
Yeah.
And that way you get that stuff, and don't worry about the other characters unless you really, want because the characters were only like $18 too. It wasn't like it was a ton.
Sure, yeah,
of money,
and that, which is nice because most games that are on Kickstarter, either they don't go to retail. If
Right.
they do, you're missing half the game.
Right. So I mean,
yeah, I think you know what, because I was sitting here in my head thinking I'm like, okay, why do I like Root so much and not this? Because the argument of doing something different for the same end goal still applies to Root, because obviously it's just different ways to get victory points. And I think the biggest reason between this and that, besides obviously the main game, it's a war game versus a
right, that's
whatever the hell this is.
The area control seems to be stuff you like.
It's the interaction. No, it's the player interaction.
Right.
Like the fact that what you do does matter to me, what both of you do. And it's like, okay, how am I going to stop Kat from gaining victory points? Because she's the Eerie, she's stacking up on all these, and she's going to get like 20 points if that goes off. Okay, we need to like, obviously it doesn't make sense for me to be like, oh, I'm going to go through time, and I'm going to fuck with your dice. But
I would say the only time it matters is truly like how much time we're taking and who we're taking from the.
Yeah, and that's it.
That's
and,
like the extent.
See, that's really because I prefer. I shouldn't say that. I've changed a lot the last couple of years. I was total Ameritrash, player interaction. Now
Sure.
I've gotten into these. I like the Euro, where I'm just kind of doing my own thing.
Where you're literally a
everything.
solo gamer.
Well, right, but I mean Euro games. There's not much player interaction. That's the whole point of. That's why a Euro game's a Euro game. There's the player interaction is not as it's very light, which this is very light because the only player interaction is where you're placing the meeples and stuff. So I've kind of went more Euro gamey the last little bit just because I like the. I don't like. I don't think
that holds true as much.
If I fuck up, it's going to be because I fucked up, not because somebody comes in and screws my game up for me.
Yeah, I think that's how Euro games used to be. Where I mean, obviously there are still some that come out where it's like, oh, I'm doing what I'm doing, and there's nothing else. We don't touch each other at all. Where it's a co-op or it's a multiplayer solo game. I think you prefer it because you only look for games that are solo, so that you're basically playing a solo game, but we're just kind of around.
I think, but there are hybrids.
Yeah,
and I don't mind those too. I mean, a lot of these new hybrids,
yeah,
stuff that we've played with, Marco Polo and stuff like that. There's interaction in that, but it's not a ton. Where it's
Yeah, I think for me, it's like whenever it comes to like solitaire multiplayer games, it's like almost kind of what's the point? Like I don't play board games to sit here by myself and only focus on what I'm doing, and then just kind of like see 2 hours go by, and it's just like, oh, okay, let's look at the victory points. Okay, well, that was fun. We didn't talk to each other at all. I didn't care about what you were doing. So it's like I still like Euro games, but I like it whenever we actually care about. We actually are competing. But it's just different taste.
Right.
So, yeah. Can't really think of anything else to talk about. You guys got anything to bring up?
I don't.
It's going to be an interesting ranking. All right. Scale of 1 to 10. Brad, you get to start. This one.
Yes. This one's one, I think, for everything that's here plus all the expansions, it was like $120. So it wasn't a big undertaking, with all this stuff. I haven't touched the solo stuff, so just basing it on.
Actually, before you say your ranking,
yes.
The other thing is kind of to touch onto, like you kind of doing your own thing and not really focusing. Is I feel like I wouldn't want to teach this game because of that aspect. For me, this wouldn't be worth setting up, teaching the game for me not to care about what anyone else is doing. So that was just one thing I was meaning to say, because it's like, yes, here's the Alchemist. I mean, it almost kind of, the game almost feels that way. Hey, here's your rule book. Fuck off. Well, how do I don't care what you're doing. I don't even know what those marbles are about. You have your rulebook, figure it out. I got my time shit, I'm figuring that out. And we'll see each other at the finish line, right? So if you're like me and you're going to be the one that's going to own this and set it up and teach people, it's a little bit all bark, very little bite. But anyway, so that was just another thing. So.
Yes. All right, so with the possibility of the solo stuff that I've been hearing, and with the play that we've done today, and everything, and with we're needing to explore the other heroes, I'm probably going to give this an 8.
An 8?
Yes.
Wait, you're including the possibility that the solo is going to be good?
An 8, but I mean, it would be higher. If the solo stuff's good, it would be higher. Because I love the aspects of the game. I like having my kind of get my engine going.
I would be very intrigued to hear, like, to see if this lands on your top 100 and if it stays. Because I don't see this. I don't think it'll stay there.
That's what I told you earlier. Was like playing each of these a few times. Yeah, it'd be good. The solo, that book of solo stuff, it's a whole different setup. It's total setup scenario different. Like I think it even changes how you play the game and what your goals are and everything. I don't think it's point based.
Oh,
it's
okay.
So I don't know. I haven't really looked at it a whole lot, but regardless, I don't think it'll be a top 100 for a long time to go, just because of the replayability.
Exactly. Yeah.
Isn't.
Yeah. Okay. Kat?
5. Just a very average
really
5.
I thought you were joking because you said you liked it.
No, I did like it, but yeah, I mean,
She's like, Seth is spitting some fucking facts over here.
No, I'm just very like, just sort of like, yeah, I'll play it if you bring it out.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, if you came over and you're like, hey, you want to play? I'd be like, yeah, I'll try the Innkeeper.
Yeah.
It's like, I would want to try every faction once and then be like, I never want to touch this game again.
Or if we were in a big group of people and they're like, hey, we need another player, I'd be like, sure.
Yeah, it's,
I'll jump in,
Yeah.
But I won't be like, don't you ever fucking ask me to play this.
This has been I will say, kind of, and I'm not trying to be like, I'm the smartest fucking guy. There are very few games that I am that stopped me. 5 points. No, that I'm handed and taught, and I'm like, so what the fuck do I do? Like, even with Root, I'm like, oh yeah, it's all right here. I just go top to bottom, and that's that. Now, obviously, there's the nuances of what the faction does, but here it was kind of like, okay, I've never played the Chronomancer. So how do I, like, what do I do? What are the actions? Like,
and I said stump, not stomp. I wasn't trying to...
I thought you said get stomped.
I wasn't trying to be like, oh, you fucking idiot.
You fucking loser. It was so weird because I was, like, in a foreign territory. I'm just like, what are the actions?
Well, and it's a weird teach because, when I was teaching this, it was like I was wanting to teach what this did before anything else, And then with this stuff, I mean, it's pretty much just knowing what your symbols do.
Yeah, and everyone has the same symbols.
Right, but how you do them, though. I mean, like, yours is completely different. That's why I said that one's the most difficult, because...
And even then, it wasn't
I know,
really
but it's just the bouncing around.
Well, I'm saying that for them.
Right.
Like, out of all of the, the three, I think in terms of easy to hard, it'd probably be easy, then middle hard.
So I picked that one as the easiest.
It's pretty fucking easy.
The only reason I say that is because you have an entire bag of marbles. You at least have 5 colors.
Oh, the bag is literally you just replace what you took.
Right, but it's still completely random in terms of the potions you want to make and then the order they're falling down. You have more control over your dice than she does her bag.
I mean, there's mitigation.
That's the only reason I say that. You guys are pretty close.
I can pull an Ichor down, and that's just like a permanent free spot.
Does it stay there?
Yeah.
It does not ever.
I just didn't do it because I didn't want to. I just didn't want to.
So you can start railing potions out if you get those dropped down.
Well, maybe Kat just sucked ass at playing the Alchemist then.
There was a lot that I was like, I don't want to do that because it takes so much to make a potion, but it turns out you could.
Yeah,
it was potions plural. Oh.
Yeah, because you were able to build up for it. You guys really are kind of similar. You have the randomness of dice versus the randomness of the bag. I didn't have any randomness. The only thing that made him difficult, which I think is actually a really good balance, is the fact that for me to get sponsorships, to balance the fact that I can control time, I have to then cover up the sponsorships. But yeah, I mean, obviously they're the more complex. Let's see. I think I'm gonna give it. It's weird. I hate ranking games because it's like it's like watching a movie. You're like, that movie was great. Never want to watch it again. I'm gonna give it a 6. I guess slightly above average. So yeah, I think that's where I shall fall. So yeah, so 5, 6, 8. Yep. All right, so that's our thoughts on Merchant's Cove, everyone. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.
Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.